Hey everybody, John Felt here. This is the April 14th, 2024 Blue Water Outlook Weekly Weather Briefing. Hope you're all doing well. I think the theme this week is from an unusually warm weekend over many areas back to a cool down that's going to seem more like early spring. With that, we're going to have a chance of some severe storms as well. Let's talk about that in today's weekly weather briefing. Okay, let's start off by a review of last week, the severe storm activity. And I know I mentioned that last week was going to be very active in the North Gulf region, and you can see all the severe storms here. And we had quite a bit of tornadoes. Remember, we had that moderate risk of severe? Well, we had quite a few tornadoes. These are all these red triangles. In addition, we had just some gusty winds over many areas of the plains all the way into the eastern U.S., and from a climatological standpoint, that's that bottom right plot or graphic. You can see that red means that April is typically climatologically the windiest month of the year. The green up continues to push north. Most areas, except perhaps South Florida and parts of South Texas and North Florida, everywhere else has really been running faster than normal. And this is what the understory, the shrubs and stuff starting to green up, and that's running 1 to 2 weeks earlier than normal this spring in many areas. Okay, so last week you can see where we had the really heavy rain over the south central U.S. and along the North Gulf Coast, 2 to 5 inches of rain. I actually see a purple there. That's nearly 10 inches of rain. You might have noticed the news reports of flooding in New Orleans. The Ohio River Valley also had some moderate rain, 2 to 3 inches of rain. Everywhere else, nothing all that spectacular. So as far as our temperatures go last week, most of the nation experienced above normal temperatures. That's yellow, orange, and red. The southwest U.S. and areas where we had the rain was a bit below normal. That's the green. Okay, so rivers are running high, and almost every spring river's running high. Orange is minor flooding. Yellow is just within banks but high. The areas where we get more significant flooding are the red, that's moderate, and the purple. Look down there in parts of Louisiana here. I see a major flooding in that area, and that indicates that's where we had that really heavy rain. So what we have here is we have many rivers are running high on the lower Ohio, middle Mississippi, and lower Mississippi, but that's not necessarily unusual for this time of year. Okay, I said we're going to go through a transition here, and the transition is going to go from this ridge of high pressure bulging up to the north. By the end of the week, we're going to have a dip in the jet stream sinking to the south. And during that transition, we are going to have our action as far as severe storms and heavy rain. Now you can take a look at temperatures here, and you can see how we go from the central and eastern U.S. from well above normal temperatures this weekend, and reverse things with much cooler weather as we go for the second 5 days, latter part of this weekend to next weekend. And then by the end of the month, we start to moderate again and get a little bit warmer. Now, the western U.S., a little bit of a reverse. The western U.S. and southwest, which has been cool, that tends to warm up. So we sort of have a reverse of that situation in the southwest U.S. Now, as far as rain goes this week, it looks like the upper Midwest, maybe an inch or two of rain. And elsewhere, looks pretty quiet. I don't see necessarily excessive rain, but thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms don't always provide widespread rain. It's more localized in these individual thunderstorm tracks. So here we go. We're going to have a very strong system. We're going to have another windy week with south winds ahead of this, warming things up, north winds behind it with the colder flow. And as that front goes through, we're going to have severe weather most days this week, actually. And you can take a look here. In some days right now, it's listed as a level 3 enhanced risk, and that might get changed as we go further out. But right now, it looks like we could have some significant severe storm activity this week. And with the dry and windy and warm conditions, we are also going to have a significant fire weather risk over parts of the plains this week. Okay, now here's the extended. Take a look at the two graphs on the right. That's week 2. And you can see sort of a line right through the middle part of the nation here. The western U.S. warmer than normal. Eastern U.S. cooler than normal. And here's our precipitation. It might quiet down, and that makes sense because the cooler air is more stable air and drier air. And finally, in case you missed it, this is the global temperature average for the past month of March. And we set a record global temperature last month. And I believe the last 10 months in a row have been significantly above normal or near record, or maybe even record. I'd have to look that up. But definitely globally warmer temperatures. And I've been telling you some of the ramifications of that, especially in light of the hurricane season. I've been putting out information on that. Anyway, that's this week's weather briefing. Hope you have a great week, and I will be updating you again next weekend with a video briefing. Take care.